The Navy says the Red Hill fuel spill was caused by human error, not because of the age or the design of the storage facility. Now, it filed 15 exemptions to Monday's ruling, pushing back against the state's proposed emergency order to drain that facility.
Now, the Navy states that the hearings officer failed to cite evidence in the record, mischaracterized Red Hill's history and operations, and contradicted testimony about testing and sampling. Now, yesterday was the deadline to fight the hearing officer's ruling to the contested case.
Now, the Sierra Club of Hawaii and Earth Justice environmental groups pushing to shut down that facility released a joint statement today saying that they are sorely disappointed in the U.S. Navy's decision to continue fighting the state's emergency order to defuel the Red Hill bulk fuel storage facility. The Navy certainly has a legal right to file exceptions to the hearing officer's proposed decision and order, but it also has a moral obligation to acknowledge the reality that every day it fights this emergency order is another day that Oahu's principal source of drinking water remains at risk.
Other conservation organizations are echoing the sentiment of disappointment to the Navy's filing.
Now, KITV4's Aaron Coogan joins us live right now this morning. And Aaron, members of the Oahu Water Protectors tell you that they are expecting this jump.
Well, good morning to you. Well, members of the Oahu-based organization say the Navy's filing of exemptions was not surprising in the slightest. Still, at the same time as some community members are heading into week 4 without access to clean water, their frustrations lie within the fact that this just prolongs efforts to combat this already severe crisis. Now, as you mentioned, the deadline for the Navy's response to the state's emergency order was yesterday. Response came in the form of 43 pages of objections and exemptions, the primary basis of the argument being a lack of substantial evidence to support defueling efforts. The document went on to explain the Navy's position on the state's, quote, failure to consider critical evidence on Navy sampling, monitoring, modeling, and testing actions at Red Hill. Still, advocates with the Oahu Water Protectors say that naval efforts to effectively address this crisis and their lack of transparency to this point have been insufficient. They say their continued lack of accountability leading up to this most recent filing is proof of that.
Horrifying. And the fact that they went through the legal process, that it was upheld by the hearings officer, and they're still attempting to find a way around it, just highlights that the military is willing to go to any length, apparently, to poison its own families and the communities that they claim to protect here in Hawaii.
The organization went on to refute the Navy's claims of insufficient evidence leading to the tank's removal, questioning what it would take for them to assume accountability. They said in seeing children admitted to the ER and pets passing away, would it take a community member dying to open their eyes? Now, the group wants to emphasize that it's not just the environmental organizations who are hoping this removal moves forward. Earlier this month, we saw the Honolulu City Council get involved, as well as continued support from the Board of Water Supply. The DOH now has 30 days to make a final decision on whether or not to uphold the emergency order. Aaron Coogan, KITV4 Island News.